What would happen if the Sentry went toe-to-toe with the new Avengers? So, in one corner, we pretty much have a Superman derivative in the form of Bob, aka the Sentry. He's your prototypical superhero with the abilities that you'd expect from one, such as super strength, flight, super speed, energy projection, you know, the works. But, unlike the Man of Steel, the Sentry doesn't get limp when he's exposed to that green rock kryptonite. Also, unlike the big blue Boy Scout, is the fact that the Sentry's alter ego isn't some journalist. Instead, he's a good old-fashioned party boy who's a little too into pure, uncut black tar H, among others. However, it's not like the Sentry is completely invulnerable. The man has one glaring weakness, or you could call it that at least. That's because whether it's congenital or a side effect from years of freebasing smack, the Sentry is pretty much a schizoid who has an evil alter ego who calls itself the Void. In the other corner, we have the New Avengers. They're one of Marvel's many groups to tout itself as Earth's mightiest heroes. For convenience's sake, though, we're going to stick to the original New Avengers roster here. To be specific, this particular iteration of the team is made up of Iron Man, Captain America, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Echo, and Spider-Woman. Sentry's part of this roster too. But in this case, let's say he broke bad after, we don't know, Steve flushed his stash down the toilet or something. Now, our New Avengers is made up of a murderer's row of some of the Marvel U's biggest cash cows. It goes without saying that this roster has the cream of the House of Ideas crop, from the wall crawler to the clawed Canuck. But when you look at it, even their combined power might not even be able to stop a Sentry who's gone rogue. Sure, it goes without saying that the Sentry's abilities are as vanilla as they could get in this day and age. But, as the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's say that he and the New Avengers went head-to-head in a pitched battle. No prep time, no fancy MacGuffins, and absolutely no holds barred. It's easy to think that the Sentry would easily teabag each and every member of this iteration of Earth's new, mightiest heroes. After all, what's Cap going to do? Go on another one of his patented pep talks on the off chance that the Sentry would listen? We doubt the man with the power of a million suns is going to sit through the star-spangled Avengers lectures. Sure, Cap could repeatedly hurl his trademark proto-adamantium shield at the guy, but we're pretty sure that's not going to do anything to the Sentry. Hell, the Sentry could even catch the shield and flip it at the nearest pawn shop so that he could score some more of that China White. Iron Man might stand a chance against the Sentry, though, if he had enough time to use his genius billionaire philanthropist playboy chops to come up with a sci-fi plot device to put a stop to the yellow-haired superhero. But, like we said, this bout has no prep time. So all Tony can rely on in this case is whatever version of the suit he's wearing. If you ask us, the Armored Avenger might pull an upset if, say, he's wearing something akin to his Extremis armor. In this instance, Tony can finesse his way into having his Extremis nanotech enter the Sentry's body and have it shut down from the inside. It might even be easier than we think, since Iron Man could disguise all those Extremis particles as a baggie of Bolivian marching powder, something Junkie Bob probably can't resist. So, there's that. If it's Wolverine, well, the best-case scenario here is a stalemate. The Sentry could spank him all day, every day, and Logan would just end up regenerating, only to experience another round in the Sentry's torture chamber. Rinse and repeat. It's a vicious cycle, and considering Wolvie can't defend himself at this point, you gotta hand the W to Sentry. But what about the fastball special, you ask? Yeah, forget about it. The Sentry has no time for that weak sauce. Come on, Bob's literally been having speedballs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner long before he even turned in the man with the power of a million suns. Then, there's our favorite friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Don't even start. Yeah. We know Pete has a reputation for punching above his weight class and occasionally coming out on top. But this is not that occasion. Simply put, our best boy is going to get smashed harder than a nanny stuck in Neil Gaiman's open-air bathtub. Then there's Echo. She's really good at martial arts. On that note, she's also going to be really good target practice for Sentry. That's it. There's no ifs and buts about it. Echo's power is that she basically has photographic reflexes, meaning she could copy anyone's movements right down to a T. Let's just hope she learned how to master the fine art of making like a tree and leaving before she gets in the middle of Junkie Bob's crosshairs. Finally, we have Spider-Woman. And, to be fair, She's perhaps the only other superhero in this new Avengers roster who has a smidgen of hope in taking down, or at least subduing, the Sentry. And we're not talking about her so-called venom blasts either. You see, Spider-Woman possesses this quality where her body naturally releases pheromones that stimulate the pleasure centers of anyone who comes into contact with it. Simply put, she's a walking, talking hell of a good time. And you know who can't refuse a good time? Junkie Bob. That's right. Spider-Woman might not be able to knock out the Sentry, but she sure as hell could get him so high on her pheromones that he ends up calming the F down. Hell, if she's lucky, the Sentry might even OD on her pheromones, giving her and the rest of the new Avengers an undeniable W. Well, that is if the Void doesn't show up. The thing is, the Void isn't as much a weakness as it is the Sentry, going absolutely bonkers. The Sentry's baseline powers are more than enough to take down the new Avengers. But if he takes the proverbial gloves off and turns into his dark self? Yeah, that's like having to choose between a sober Khabib Nurmagomedov and John Jones after a weekend of White Girl Interrupted. And we all know what happens when you fight John Jones in that state.
I beat you after a weekend of cocaine.
So, who would win in a fight between the Sentry and the Avengers? Hard to tell, really. On one hand, this Fabio-looking MF has the raw stats on his side, but if the new Avengers play their cards right, they might just end up on top. But let's be honest here. The real winner here is James Gunn, because he's the only guy who had the good sense of jumping ship before the MCU turned into an absolute crap show after Avengers Endgame. What do you think, guys? Who would win in a fight between this new Avengers roster and the Sentry? How would they do it? Sound off in the comments below and let's talk about it. And please help us create more content like this by giving us a like, share, subscribe, and ringing that notification bell. We'll see you real soon, only here at KRTV Marvel.